This movie takes place in a magical kingdom named Lumbria, and the typical rules of reality are not applicable. Our protagonist is the princess of this land, Ellian, and she has a massive problem on her hands. Her parents were turned into monsters a year ago. They can't communicate and basically act like animals throughout the palace. Ellian has been left to take care of the kingdom all by herself, which leads to some mental strain, especially when her birthday rolls around. She writes to the oracles of the sun and moon in order to seek guidance, and they eventually agree to meet with her. It seems like her birthday might be turning point, but when they show up, the monster forms of her parents scare them off. They do leave behind a magical device named Fob with them, which Ellian's pet, Flink, discovers and swallows. But when Ellian later lets the monsters out of their cage, they escape into the town, and the people of the kingdom discover what happened to their beloved monarchs. The general demands that they be exiled from the kingdom. Ellian disagrees with this, so with Flink, she uses the Fob in order to get them out of there. But as the army and the ministers chase them, she accidentally switches Flink out with the minister Boliner. Flink's brain is in his body, rendering his human body vaguely useless and only animalistic, and Boliner is freaked out to see himself as a purple rat. The group does eventually reach the oracles, who tell them to go to the Lake of Light. We get the first hints of what really happened right after this, as when the group gets more upset inside of a tunnel, the darkness that transformed her parents appears. The monarchs regain their ability to speak, but show no memories of their past lives. They all reach the desert, and the army is in hot pursuit. Over the shades of darkness, the sand turns into quicksand, which Ellian and crew quickly figure out. They escape the army narrowly, rescuing a baby griffin in the process. The adult griffins take them to meet their herd. Is that the right terminology for griffins? And Ellian's parents remember her as their daughter. Then Boliner gains hope of things becoming normal. The group runs into a community of Flinks, which Boliner comes to accept and befriend, and the Flinks show them where they need to go next.
How have I lived my whole life marvelous? The slop, the slime, the sludge, the rot. It's different, sure, but...
Up next is the Lake of Light, where we learn that Ellian's parents were constantly arguing. Seems like they were not a perfect match of love, despite what Ellian might think. It's at the Lake of Light they come to terms that they need to end their marriage, and for some reason they decide to tell Ellian right then and there. The dark magic appears as Ellian becomes upset, and the army shows up to capture her parents. Ellian is left behind in the dark storm, but with the help of the entire Flink community and their talent at spitting worms, they convince the army in general that they're the monarchs and are rationally minded now. Ellian is about to turn into a monster herself, so her parents scale the walls and use the light of the lake to get Ellian out of the dark. Then they tell her about how they love her so much, and that nothing will change. Ellian comes to terms with what happened. The spell then wears off, and her parents become human again. They move into separate castles and divorce, but still rule the kingdom efficiently. The movie ends with Ellian's next birthday, and everyone coming together to celebrate it.